Well, all right, and welcome back to the Jay Talks, today's relationship show. I'm Jay, and who are you?
I'm Miss Debbie.
Oh, Miss Debbie.
Hi. Good to be back with you, Jay.
All right, okay. Jay and Miss Debbie in the house. All righty. All right, let's get on with this topic. Okay.
Topic for today.
I need to get one of them pre-recorded hand clappers. Well, the topic of the day is the pros and cons regarding mixed or interracial couples, or mixed or interracial
relationship.
Well, my lips are sticking together.
Say it slow, Jay.
Yeah, my lips are really sticky. All right, the pros and cons of mixed or interracial relationships.
There you go. I knew you could do it, Jay.
Man, I should have been eating that honey. That the biscuits and that honey, man, it's making my lips stick.
The pros and cons.
Okay, of pros and cons. So regarding mixed or interracial relationships. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So let's get this thing rolling.
Okay.
I'm sure we have some interracial relationships.
Yes.
Couples.
Yes.
Or people. Singles.
Absolutely.
Out there probably listening to this show.
Absolutely, Jay.
And I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. The call-in number, the call-in to the show is 931-220-7063. 931-220-7063. I'm going to repeat that one more time. 931-220-7063. Okay? All right, so let's get this thing rolling about this interracial
relationship
or mixed. And I guess I'm gonna let me set a little bit of the stage so I can open people's mind up.
Okay.
So we can be able to be, I guess, a little bit more broader than a little narrow-minded. All right, because majority of the time when we say interracial, the first thing that comes up with people is black and white. All right, there are more than two races in the world. Okay, so when we say interracial, that includes any mix of any types of races. Now, I said mixed or interracial. So when I say mixed, I'm talking about sometimes you have ethnic backgrounds that could consider you separated from a certain group of people, and that is sometimes looked at in the same manner as interracial. I'll use some forms like in the Bible. You did have the Israelites, you had the Jews, you had the Samaritans. Now, you both could be dark-skinned people, but you were considered like the Samaritans and the Jews. You had dark-skinned Jews too, and if you could be a dark-skinned Jew, I've just made it say like dark or like black, but we categorize as black. Just like Samaritans who are dark-skinned or considered black, but they considered if a Jew entwined with a Samaritan, that was considered interracial or mixed. And so because of ethnic background, the way society looked at that was the same as whether they were black and white or Mexican and white or Mexican and black or uh, Spanish or descent or um, so I think it takes on the same type of characteristic or same viewpoint. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let me just start off by saying this, Jay, as an opening point for me. When you talk about interracial or mixed relationships, I think that every person under the sound of my voice, if you can hear me or not, has the right to choose whomever they want to be in a relationship with. Okay, that's the first thing. So now when you talk about interracial relationships, even though we know that there are other ethnicities that can be together, whether it's Puerto Rican and Mexican or Chinese or Japanese or whatever that is, um, we know it happens. We know that those kind of relationships are developed. But when you think about interracial relationships, the first relationship you think about most of the time is the relationship between a black person and a white person. Okay. So when you look at that group of people, be it black and white, where a lot of the stigma or the backlash has come in, I believe, is from those two groups of people. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where all of the drama a lot of times develops from a black person and a white person being in a relationship. And we can go back and we know the history, of that black, a black person and a white person being together and how it was not supposed to be in a lot of people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It was considered taboo.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases, people lost their lives, because of this thing, because of the intermingling between a white person and a black person. But if we look at it now, we look at today's, and we come up to today's time, we see so much of it. And again, I say, every person has the right, their own personal choice to choose whomever they desire to be in a relationship with. It should not be a stigma or a taboo as to who you can date or marry outside of your race.
Right. Well, I agree with that. It should not be a stigma or some type of rule, regulation. Um, you know, because if two people find themselves attracted to each other, then find themselves in love with each other, and that's who they actually choose to be with. I mean, what can you really do?
Absolutely.
I mean, except make that situation difficult. And sometimes we, since we're talking about pros and cons, I guess that would be on one of the cons. Is that, or the negative side of it, is that those who disagree, or who fight against that, can make that journey into a mixed or interracial relationship difficult.
Yeah.
Because of their
belief,
their belief, and they're intervening in said whoever person relationship that's trying to get it together. Sometimes it could be the parents.
Yes.
And their values and their insights as to how they see their preferences, and they sometimes push that on to their children.
Yeah.
No matter how old they are.
Right.
They could be 40 years old. Her parents in their 90s, and they in their 40s and 50s, and trying to get into an interracial or mixed relationship, and the parents still think they got say so.
Yeah. And in most cases, Jay, will deny the child.
Yeah.
You know, If this is what you're gonna do, I don't want nothing else to do with you.
Right.
You know, and we've seen cases like that down through the years where it's happened. You've heard those stories about two people getting together where black and white, and that's what we're talking about right now. We know it happens in other races, but we're talking about the relationship between black and white, and they've been in a relationship or getting into a relationship. And the parents do just that, or the family does just that. Want nothing else to do with them because you've done the unthinkable.
Right.
Yeah. You've done the unthinkable. And that's, and we can sit and we can say, and a lot of that still goes on today, but when something is bred in you for so long, like a person that has that kind of mindset, I believe that, blacks should stick with their own kind, or whatever. When you have that kind of mindset, they're not changing. They're not changing that thought. I mean, it's going to be that way until they die, most likely. And we know that because it still exists.
Right.
You still have people that would rather see something happen to you than to see you happy, being in a relationship with somebody outside of your race. They would rather give you grief and cause you misery because of it.
Right. That's right. And they sometimes treat it as though it's them. Actually, it makes. Oh Lord, I tell you, some of the things that happen in interracial relationships or mixed relationships have been happening all the way through the Old Testament, and even wars have sprung.
Yes, absolutely.
Because of some of these things that are happening. I know even when slavery was about. Now I found this to be such a hypocrite situation. Now and now when I say this, this show talks about facts and truths. So when I say this, I'm not saying anything derogatory against any category of race. I'm just stating something that's true. And that is that I found it so interesting to pay attention to that during slavery, even though I did not endure slavery, we do endure a different type of slavery in modern times, but not that real cruel, rough, lynching, hanging, shooting, killing, dragging, and all. I mean, just heinous crimes against the black race of what the Caucasians, what they call white power back then, and what they did to blacks. But this is what I found so interesting. But it was the Caucasian man that really was pushing white power. The Caucasian women, they stood behind their men. All right.
Okay.
All right. But the Caucasian men, with their statement of how much they couldn't stand Negro people, African American, Negro, blacks, all right, and they had another word that started with N. But,
okay, Jay.
all right, yeah, they had another word.
Another word, yeah.
Yeah. 5-letter word, yeah. Well, Well, but since they had all those descriptions, all right, you could pick either one of them. But since they had those descriptions, the bottom line didn't make no difference which one of those words of description you used. The bottom line is their claim was to have hate, such a strong hate for the black society. All right. Now, if they had such a hate, why did they just love raping and and sexing up and impregnating the black woman if you had such a hate for her. All right. I know part of it was to degrade and abuse, but how can you find yourself loving what you hate? Because when it comes down to it, the real reason they kept going back to the black woman was because they were liking what they were doing to the black woman. I'm just keeping it real.
Oh, yeah.
they were liking. It was more than degrading her. They were liking that black sugar, if you want. All right. All right. All right.
Okay.
All right. Even though there was there were intentions of degrading and all that of the black women, at the same time they were enjoying it. Okay. All right. So how do you enjoy something that you can't stand?
But that's because, Jay, I think a lot of times because it was a hidden desire. Now let's look at this thing in a broader spectrum. If you remember the movie Rosewood, okay, you talked about how wars had developed over this. If you look at the movie Rosewood, the storyline was there was a white woman that was actually having an affair with a black man, and she liked being with him. Okay, here we go. She had that desire to be with him until they had been doing this in this affair for so long until she got caught. Okay, then when she got caught, she couldn't say to the white society that I'm having an affair with this black man and I love him. She couldn't say that because guess what? They would have married her.
Yeah, they were too. Yeah, it was about 100 lashes.
But I'm talking about the seriousness of this. And then Rosewood was a true story, people. If you have not watched the movie Rosewood, pull up the movie Rosewood and watch it in its entirety. And there was actually a war where hundreds and hundreds of black people lost their lives because of now what did she do? She cried rape. Okay. So, and because of that, it caused the murder and the death of a lot of black people. So now when you look at that, and I'm just talking about that in one instance, but you look at the history that has gone down from that time until now. Now I ain't gonna say so much now. I know it still happens, but murder, degrading, just everything that you can imagine that a black man would suffer, or because of the choice that he made to be with a Caucasian woman. I'm gonna stop using the word white. Excuse me. Somebody of the Caucasian race. So now, when you look at it now, it seems to be pretty much acceptable. I mean, it's a way. I mean, now even though we know it's not, because there are still some people who don't like the idea of African American and the Caucasian being together. It's just not as widespread as it was in those days. Okay. You get my point?
Right. And well, I do find that in society that the most controversial mix of interracial relationships is a Negro and a Caucasian, or a black and a Caucasian. We, like I said in the beginning of the show, there are many different races, and you could choose whatever combination in any kind of way. But you don't hear a lot of controversy with it's a black with an Indian, a black with a Mexican, a black with a, with a Chinese, or even vice versa, Caucasian with either one of the other ones. You might hear a little, but not that much. And I'd say the reason for that is because there's no history of any wars against rights of humanity against the other ones, okay, against the other ones, as it was with the Negro, between the Negro and the Caucasian. So when that comes about, it still stirs up some issues with the Caucasian. It stirs up issues with the Negro community or black community, because those in the black community still are pondering on what happened in the past, and us trying to bind ourselves together as a black society to grow and be reestablished. But when you have interracial relationships come in, it begins to pull away from the race and begins to establish a new race, which is a mixed race. Okay. And in a mixed race, you really you have several different factors that go into it, not any particular. Like you could say a Chinese, purebred, pure Chinese, pure black, pure white, pure, Spanish or Mexican. You could, but when you have a mix, when they start giving mixed offspring, now they could claim which one they want to lean toward. Even now, even on applications on jobs, they have an area where you can put, other. Other. If it had been me, if I was mixed, I probably would put alien. But
okay, Jay.
But they do. They have that area where you can now put that on there. So, but we're talking about the pros and cons, and I know we're talking about several cons. There are some positives, and we're gonna get to that. But when people, especially of a black and white, Negro, Caucasian, get together, there is this like cloud that comes about over that relationship, and especially if it's a white woman with a black man rather than a white man with a black girl, and I find that even interesting. It's society, for some reason, I think it's just a psychological molding that from slavery, as I was starting to say, you hear more controversy over a white girl with a black man than a white man with a black girl, okay, or a woman. And you hear more controversy. You take like friends, or say a group of black females. If you had them all on the bleachers as the judges and watching the two, they would probably have more complaints about the white woman with a black man than a white man with a black woman. I'm gonna tell you, and what I foresee it would be, when it comes to the black man with the white woman, it'd be like, that brother need to stick with his own race. We ain't got enough black men as it is.
Or we ain't good enough for them.
Yeah. What's she gonna do for you that we can't do?
I've heard it all.
Yeah. But when it comes to the black woman and the white man, shoot, you better go on and get that money. Shoot, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is such a flip flop.
Yeah. And so, Jay. But my thing is that when I look at the fact of interracial relationships, marriages, what we're talking about today, the thing we have to remember is, and you made a great point, as if we look at the history, why it's so still taboo, because of the relationship, and how all of that started in the beginning between the African American and the Caucasian. Look at the history of it. That's why it's so volatile, and that's why even though now we see a lot of it now. Actually, when I moved from Detroit here, when I first came back south and I saw it on such a grand scheme, I was like, wow. Even though personally I'm okay with whoever, because we talk about again, these are these people's right to make the choices that they make and whom they want to be with. But when I came back from up north and moved back south, I was like, wow. And now it's like I see it every day, and it's just like commonplace.
Right.
So when you look at it again, and my thing is this: there are good and bad relationships in every nationality of people. So if you just made the decision to say, well, I'm not gonna date my race of man or my race of woman because of a bad relationship, then you're doing yourself an injustice. But now, if you made the decision to say, hey, maybe I'm making the point to venture out and see what other races are about or are like, then you got every right to do that. But don't make that decision because you mad. Because this relationship didn't work out, because all relationships are not the same.
Right. And that goes to pretty much the same point as or the same basis that I've set and spoke and counseled with several lesbians who, when asked, well, what really got you, really turned on to the lesbian society or the lesbian way, and what I mostly heard from they were either bi or fully gay lesbians, distinct lesbians, whatever. But what I mostly hear or heard is that they got tired of fooling with men, okay, and so they figured. Here comes where the psychic drama comes in. They figured that they'll just stick with or go be with a woman, since a woman, they're the same and they could feel and understand each other. But here's where the truth about deception comes in. When you sit down, if anybody was to ever not feel uncomfortable about sitting down just to conversate, just to get an understanding with those of the LGBT community, and just listen to them and ask them, do their relationships have issues and drama? And just don't even compare to the heterosexual relationship, but the homosexual relationship. Just listen what they say, and I guarantee you will hear the same exact issues and problems. Well, my girlfriend, these two women, my girlfriend cheated on, so I'm not with her no more. But that's why you left. Being with a man.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm just saying.
Right.
All right. The gay males is a little bit of a different story. Most of the gay women, that's pretty much their justification. That's what they use mostly. But the gay males are a little different. But getting back to that, as you were saying, with the interracial situation, if you decided that you wanted to, things not going right with a person in your race, I mean with people in your race, just because you say, well, I'm gonna date somebody out. I'm gonna go check out somebody outside my race. I'm sure it's gonna be better than what than what the people I've been dating. It seemed like ain't trying to do nothing, ain't being what I. All right, as I pointed out with the gay lesbians, with the lesbians and their story, most of them, not all of them, their story as the reason why. Let me share some with a lot of folks. You can find trifling folk in every race. Okay.
Every sector.
Every race. Every race. You can find nice folk in every race. The thing that I tend to say is that many people don't know how to look for it and don't know how to recognize it, and they go through this trial and error and they get burnt. And so they don't know how to handle and disperse dealing with their anger and so rather than to rationally adjust and handle it, they irrationally take alternative route to actually get away from it and think that the like they say, to think that the grass is greener on the other side. All right. And I mean, there's proven statistics. You can find it everywhere. Look at on media, magazines. They love doing, research on relationships is one of the biggest covered areas. Almost about it really, it's even as strong even in the church. Relationships. You know. But as far as some pros, I know we've been talking about a lot about cons.
Yeah.
As far as some pros, I mean, I say about interracial or mixed relationships, whether it be about color, race, or ethnic background, is this: any relationship can be good.
Yeah.
Can be.
Yes.
There's always the hope for it to be good, but it all comes down to this bottom line as to how you choose. You choose the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All the content.
Yeah.
What you use to choose that person. Because somebody might say, well, I want a good conversationalist. I just can't find nobody in my race. All they want to talk about my body part. Right? They don't want to talk about nothing else. So they look at this other race and say, hey, they have good conversation about stuff all the time. So I'm gonna go get hooked up with them. But they could still have a temper problem.
Yeah.
All right. They got women beaters, white, black, Mexican, Puerto Rican, African, Jewish, Hindu.
Right.
They got women beaters in every one of them. You name it.
That's right. So Jay, I mean, you made a good point, as you say. It's about your choice. It's about the choice you make. Now, if you make the choice to not to deal with the race of men or women of your nationality, for whatever reason you make that choice, but don't go into making the decision to go outside your race just for the sake of saying they gonna treat me better.
Right.
You setting yourself up for a whole lot of problems.
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen that type of thing happen? I mean, true story. My neighbors were, into it. They're interracial, couple, and they used to get into it quite often. Where he would jump on her, that type of thing. And so over a course of time, when the argument would get so heavy and so nasty, then those names start coming out, letting you know, whether, it was her, he was always, be this, be that, be this, be this. And her thing was in. It's not funny though, but you will see. I mean, and even though it may not have been like she was saying it to just, because we say things when we get mad. We say stuff when we get mad a lot. So that's why it's important to think before you, because a lot of times stuff come out, you can't get it back. But it's and I believe there are certain lines that shouldn't cross. But see, here go another point we talk about. When you get angry at me, or I get mad with you, then you cross that line. I'm gonna call you what you are by nationality, or you gonna call me what I am by my nationality. So, I mean, what good is it in that? You understand the point I'm making, Jay?
Right.
What good is it in that if you gonna remind each other of what? The stigma.
Right. And here's another thing. This is getting back to ethnic mixed couples. Not so much interracial, but the same problem still can occur or rise up. If Africans and Jamaicans and Haitians tend to not desire a intermingling between the three different types. Okay, even though they're all dark. If if a white person look at three categories: African, Haitian, and right, and all they gonna say, well, y'all all look black to me. y'all look African back to me. Right. But to them, because they know their nationality,
right, it's a difference.
Right, it's a difference, and they see that as a taboo just as much as a black and a white person,
right?
Intermingling, and so when we say interracial, and I did mention ethnic background because that's nationalities. You still can enter in the same type of environment. You were talking about when the two got angry. I know that was a black and a white person, but I tell you, I know it's not funny, but I guess I just didn't have no sense back when I was a lot younger. I wasn't using it. So back then, and when I was way younger, I was working with a cable company. When I was in Atlanta, there was an area where they had all these outside nationalities like Africans and Haitians and and all them Jamaicans. All of them was kind of like mixed up in these housing communities.
Okay.
So I used to find it very humorous, even though it's not really that funny. But I'm talking about back then. I'm not laughing now, even though if I say it, it might sound funny. But I used to find it so humorous when I would go in those neighborhoods and I would see, to me, like I said, they all their accents sound the same to me, because I'm purebred American, and the Haitian, the Jamaican, I mean they all say they sound like the same kind of accent. The Virgin Island people, they all have the same accent to me. To them, they could tell a little bit of difference. But I'm here, so it was kind of humorous when I would hear them getting angry at each other, going at each other, and they'd be calling one black person saying to another black, "You black, I think it's good looking nigga." And boy, that was so funny. I was like, how you gonna call them black, you black, right?
Yeah. I mean, but and if we look at it, in our society now, there's still not as much, but there's a clash among us as African Americans, black, whatever you want to, however you want to label yourself. You know, so you got, because you got the dark skin black, you got the you got the not so dark, then you got the caramel, then you got the light, then you got the light bright, you know. And so if you are a certain color, you know, amongst your own people, you know, and if you real light with light brown eyes, you know, then you trying to be white, you know, and that type of thing. And so if we got that kind of confrontation among us still, how do you feel that, you know, we view relationships outside of our race? You know, because there are still some people that have a problem with that today. Just as, you know, on both spectrums. You know, I mean, and when I tell you, I ain't just talking about a problem. I'm talking about get downright nasty, mad, and have an attitude about what you doing with them, what you doing with her, what you doing. Don't you know the history that we had to suffer because of it? Yes, and I'm not making light of it. I'm not making light of it. But you have to allow people to live their lives the way they want to, because the truth of the matter is that if those people back in the slavery days were allowed to be who they wanted to be, and all they were asking to do was to have the right to be who they were.
Right.
You know, I mean, how much further along could we have come? You know, so it's by choice. I think by choice. All right, but you look at that thing again. When you're talking about children being born into a relationship like that, then you still got people that don't care for the fact of interracial relationships, and it makes the children suffer.
Right.
You know, and these are grown people too, because the kids ain't in it, but these are grown people.
Right.
You know, which is awful in itself. I mean, and the cycle is just repeating itself.
Right. Right. And yeah, it does. It keeps repeating itself. Nowadays, you find more hidden hatred or discomfort with you know, with mixed relationships than it had, you know, many decades ago. I was just, I mean, bluntly, outright. So, but you know, these days, the rise of interracial mixed relationships, no matter what the ethnic background, nationality background, race background, is I mean, hitting top of the charts nowadays, and it does seem like the society is becoming more acceptable of that, even though you're gonna always have some haters. Because we're not in a perfect world, and we won't be in a perfect world until Christ comes back. But we, since we, you know, have those haters, the pro part of this is, one of the pros is that that if, and I guess this is kind of conditionally based for a pro, because if the two are compatible for each other, and that's a if, okay? Because if they're not, it don't matter what race. If it don't matter what race you are, same race, outside race, if you're not compatible with each other, you're gonna have dramas, issues, and problems. Okay? If you are compatible and you just so happen to be mixed race, then one of the pros about it is that the two together can become an inspiration.
A united front.
An inspiration to all those and others, as to say, well, you know, look at us. Because see, no relationship is going to go without any hills and, you know, and valleys of discomfort. I don't care if you're same race. So it's just a different set of values of discomforts and issues. Maybe some the same, but some different. whereas two black people together wouldn't have to worry about people looking down on them for as for like interracial that kind of problem. But you still could have problems such as in differences of character, in differences of preference, um, those kind of things, and those kind of issues. I mean, are pretty much prevalent in every relationship. Now, the degree of it is going to depend on how compatible you are, and how you made your choice for each other, the degree of it. But no relationship is without, um, I say no relationship has zero indifference.
Right.
It can have a very low indifference,
Right.
but
you don't go untouched
right.
by problems.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I was reminded of the movie Sanaa Lathan played in the movie. I think it was called Something New, where she was dating this white guy and everything, and I think they hid their relationship for a while for the fact of both of their families not actually being against it, but this was something new for Sanaa, in the movie. And it was really funny. I enjoyed the movie because that was a perfect example of the point that you just made about, you decided that, this is what you want to do. You're compatible with her. She's compatible with you, and you're going to go ahead and go off into the relationship, and how they stuck that thing together. But the thing of it that was so funny to me was that he was always so fascinated about her as a black woman.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he fascinated about was her hair, because he had heard, the stories about black women,
Right.
and how we do our hair, with the weaves and stuff like that. And he used to always just pick it up and be like, "So you saying like what really is a weave? How do you do that?" I mean, and it was just funny, And so when you talk about the differences in the relationship, as far as interracial and things like that, because we are so different, and how we, where they can just go in, wash their hair, condition it, comb it, and go ahead. But we have to go through a process, with our hair. So you're dealing with that. And so now, if you're not the type of person that knows, like you said, Jay, that type of thing is going to come in a relationship, because you might be a person, you can't stand hair everywhere. We had those issues. Why you got hair all over the sink? So that's a part of it. But you have to know who you are. I guess that's the point that I'm making, Jay, is that you have to know who you are, and just own that.
Right.
Own it.
Right. The same set of facts. I'm going to get into some of the myths.
Okay.
As to what I've heard over time, over the many years. No, I just say many. Y'all don't want y'all to think I'm that old. All right, many years.
How old are you, Jay?
Many years. Even though I have a young birthday coming up, but young birthday. That I've heard, people say the reasons or some of the things that elude or persuade them, or persuading factors for going to seeking out to the other race. Okay. Because black. Okay, I'm going to use different races here, but I'm going to start with the black race. Okay. Black women have asked this question: why is it that our black men tend to go to white women? Okay. That's been a question. You'll see it in magazines all over the place. That's been a survey or a topic. And okay, all right. Here's some of the lines that in mentality that has crept in some of the black men, and this actually has spewed from slavery. The same thing when I get to the black women with white men. Is because even in during slavery, because the master was with their women with the black women. Mm-hmm. All right. The only way the black man could figure he could get an easier life if he could just win over that white woman. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. If there's a similar idealistic mind thought here. You know, and because the white woman in their mind, not all of them, I'm just saying this is a psychosis that has been brought up throughout an area of time, is that white women have this thing implanted that black men mm-hmm. are supposed to be sexually blessed. Mm-hmm, okay, that's mm-hmm. I'm saying it real that's nice. Good. That's sexually blessed. Yes. Okay, and what they call mandingo. Mm-hmm, what they call mandingo, or sexually blessed. That's supposed to be the outlook and of what's forthcoming out of the black man. Okay. Okay. Which is supposed to be better than mm-hmm. what the Caucasian white man could give them. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let me tell y'all, based upon statistics, I told y'all we deal with truth and proven statistics. Based upon statistics, and I probably got a bunch of black sisters about to do a cheer on this one, because I've heard them make this statement too. That is kind of exaggerated. All right, I'm not saying that no black man is black, right, but the way it's put out there, yeah, that everyone, that pretty much like 95%, yeah, you gonna find only a handful that ain't blessed. Mm-hmm. No, that is mm-hmm. really kind of overrated. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. That's kind of overrated. Yeah. All right. Just telling you what statistics say. Okay. Then the other thing with black men, that's white women, mm-hmm. black men. The other thing about black men, as I said, they because, and all this does stem from slavery. Black women have carried a aura or a spirit of hate. Okay, I'm saying that. I'm saying hate. They may not realize it so much of hate because they complain. They're complaining, nagging. The way we nag. Not all, but there is a kind of spirit. Uh-huh. Okay. A kind of spirit. I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Okay. We hear it quite often. This ain't Jay talking. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I know y'all listening out there. Don't you dare act like y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. Y'all know who you are. You know who All right. There's a spirit of the complaining and the nagging and the need to be in control. Okay. All right. Like the Bible said in Genesis, the woman shall want to rule the man. She shall desire. The scientists did declare the evil is black. Okay. That's another show, Jay. Okay. As you put it down, and the scientists did declare the evil is black. Okay. Okay. All right. Just saying. I'm like, I'm just saying. That still kind of sounds interesting why that was written. And what I'm seeing, what we tend to see nowadays. Okay, I'm just saying. And then it jumped over in Proverbs and it says 7 different times. 7 different times in Proverbs. It is better to be on a rooftop. The man is better to be on a rooftop than to be in the house with a nagging complaint. It said a nagging, complaining woman is like a non-stop raining drip of a rainy day. It says in 70, but it's saying the same thing. And remember, Eve was black.
Anyway, Jay. All right. Anyway.
All right. So, but really, I'm trying to help somebody right now. Okay.
Help us, Jack.
Yeah. Many black men cannot stand. I don't think no man. The Bible makes that clear. It didn't say black or white. It said a man. Yeah. I don't think no men really. You got some that will just endure it. But the majority,
they learn how to tune it out.
Yeah, that's why I say endure it. But preferential wise, no. And so the psychosis that has been brought to black men is that, well, white women, because back in the slave, you gotta remember, go back to the slave days. White women wasn't really doing. You had a little few, but white women wasn't really ordering the slaves. Not really. Right, they wasn't really doing the ordering of the slaves.
The men were. Yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly men.
And they were taught to be. Let me use this word rightly and lightly. Submissive.
Right. Right.
So whatever their husband said. Yeah. That's what it was.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right. So, right. You see, you said one of the things I was getting ready to go to, and the idea that white Caucasian women would probably be less complainative, will be more submissive. Where the black man can now feel like he's ruling the woman. All right? There's not too many sisters gonna be ruled. Okay, let me have to say it like that. Ain't too many sisters gonna be ruled. Okay, all right. So, there was this religious speaker who had this thing that he was putting out there, that black men would go into white women because they were seeing them as a higher form of race to be able to bring them up. Well, that is not true. That folks don't. Let's get into some statistics, because like I said, when I was doing cable with many years. I don't want to put too many meanings on that. Many years ago.
How many days? True.
Many years ago, that as I was going in many of these areas, I would see a lot of mixed couples, and most of them were white women and black men. Now, and these were low income places. All right. What the white society would really call the white women that hooked up with black men, they would call them white trash. Okay. It wasn't the black society that gave them that name. It was their own society that gave them that name. All right. Or they would call them trailer trash. It's the same thing. But these what I was seeing was white women with black men who did not have anything. Many of them didn't even have a car. The place that they lived was raggedy, and drug infested areas, and all that. And it wasn't too many. Now, this is not the standard for everybody, but I mean, I do see this quite a lot. Because I do see, some well-established, mixed couples too. But then we get to the black woman, we get to the black woman, you know, I was just saying answering one of those questions for black women as to why the black men tend to go. One of the biggest reasons that black men say that they go to a white woman, no matter what level of class they are, whether they have anything or not. It's just the idea of many black men say it's because they're thinking, their reasoning, not saying it's correct. I'm just saying that this is their reasoning, their psychotic reasoning, that I can get with this white woman, and I won't have the kind of attitudes and character to deal with like I've been dealing with the black woman. And this is not all black men, but but this has been a general part of a lot of black men that I've studied, been reading up on, studying on for, I'm saying, for a good some time now. That and these are the reports that have been coming out. But with black women hooking up with a white man or some other race, it's a lot of them is because that they find they're tired of the black man, and it's like some domino effect, that it's because folk are getting tired of this in their race, so they go this and they find out it ain't really as
the grass ain't green on the other side.
Right. But I don't know, what's up with all these dominoes that folk be playing. It would be so much better for society if we could ever come to using our good sense.
Okay. Jay, I'm just going to say this as pretty close to our final remark. We started the show out by saying, that everyone has their own choice to make whomever, to be with whomever they desire to be with. But when you make that choice, do it for the reason, like you said earlier, Jay, that you're compatible with each other, and you feel that this person is going to help develop you into being better. Can I say that? Is that a good way? To being a better person, be it the man or the woman. I have no problems personally with anybody, because my thing is that to each his own. As long as you're happy and you're not miserable in any relationship, then live your life. But for me, on a personal note, I'm about the relationship between a black man and a black woman. Whatever that is, if it's broken, let's try to work that thing out. Let's try to see what we can do to repair it. And if it's good, excellent. And that's just me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw this back out there again. I did this, I think, 2 shows ago. But I'm gonna throw this back out there. I'm probably gonna repeat this a few more shows, because I think this helps the boundaries of establishing a relationship, no matter what race you are or what you're looking for. But it mostly helps the person know themselves and know if they're going to go seek for someone or invite for somebody to be in their life, that they have a repertoire and an outlook of what that makeup should look like. Or what that should look like.
Right.
Because if you have no idea, you're just going to be testing the ground.
Absolutely.
Until you hopefully one day wake up.
Right.
All right. And life is, if you don't think life is not precious, I don't know why folks wait till they almost ready to die. They get so sick they're ready to die, then they want to see that life is so precious and look back. You don't have to wait till you so old, or you so sick,
or you done been beat up and went through the ringers and these other different relationships and things like that. Get it now. Get it now.
Get it right now, because just look at, for whatever age you're at right now, look back over your life, and then say to yourself, all right, everything leading up to this point in my life has been valuable, because number one thing, I don't know what my next day gonna be, or
Absolutely.
if I might be just walking perfectly fine on the sidewalk, and some kind of freak accident might happen, and somebody, and because we know all kinds of stuff is happening. Somebody might lose control of the car, come on the sidewalk and hit you.
Yes. Anything.
Okay. So because of that, here's what I'm going to lay down. I'm going to leave you with my 3-page outline.
Yeah.
The 3-page outline as to that can help you and focus on the outlook. You know, if you want to seek for them or you're waiting for them, no matter what it is, but you're going to know that this is the best person, and I say perfect, the best person that will fit you. Okay? All right. The best outlook of a person that will fit you. Okay, first page. I'm going to say this real quick. I'm not going to say it as drawn out as I did the last time. But the first page, 3 pages, get you 3 sheets of paper. All right, you got first thing, you got to be honest with yourself. Completely honest with yourself. You know if you're honest with yourself. And you ain't got to tell nobody. Matter of fact, it's best you don't tell nobody you doing this outline. It really is. Just keep it to yourself because it only matters to you. Anyway. Exactly. All right? Yeah. Okay. You know, not unless you want to go tell somebody else and let them, you know, how it's done and all that. But what you write down in it, that should be really kept to yourself. Okay. All right. You have to be completely, I can't say that enough, honest with yourself. All right, first page, you're going to write down everything you possibly can think of that you would like to find in this person, about this person, you know, for this person. I mean, you know, not just a character. You know, we think sometimes too simple that, you know, job, the character, you know, and how they probably would treat me. Let's go, open your mind up to every horizon possible. What kind of family background you know they might have, you know, as to a preference that you would, you know, in a fantasy wish to have, you know, if you were to hook up with them, you know, what, if you ever went around the family, what kind of family would be the idealistic family on his side, friends, you know, his lifestyle, you know, because they could be a busy person, you know, that, you know, character may be great, everything else may be great. They could be busy, and you can't deal with that. All right, just saying. All right. But I mean, everything, curly hair, straight hair, you know, nappy hair, whatever it is, whatever turn you on, bald, whatever it is, you know. I mean, write it down. Goatee, beard, you know, John Henry beard, whatever, you know, whatever. Or Whip Van Winkle beard, whatever. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know. Dress, the way they dress. I'm just trying to broaden, you know, your mind. Put it, anything that you can think of, whatever it is that attracts you, or you think that will attract you to your mate, your ideal mate. That's the point. Your ideal, what you think is ideal, what you think is ideal. Right. Not what other people say. All right. And now listen to this. Here's part of the honesty to yourself. You cannot move forward to no other sheets until you finish this. If it takes you a year to finish it will be when you say to yourself, I have thought and thought and thought and I just cannot think of a single other thing. That's when you put that paper away. You do not look at it anymore. Because if you look at it, peep at it, whatever, during this whole course, you're not being honest with yourself and you cheated. So it's not guaranteed to work if you cheat and not being honest. Don't you come back to Jay. All right? All right. The second page, you're going to do totally the opposite of what you did the first page. First page, you wrote down everything preferential, you know. And remember the first page, you know, I mean, it includes stuff like you know,
I want
kiss
him to
her,
have perfect teeth
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff. You gotta include everything. Some people got things about feet, you know. I mean, like I said, include everything. You gotta broaden your mind. Reach down within yourself. You're gonna get to know yourself after this is over with. Okay? And you don't have to experience stuff to know. You can see. You might have seen stuff with some friend that your friend had, you know, their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and you like, you know, I kind of like that in them. You know, I ain't never had nobody like that, but you know what you like.
Right.
Okay.
You know what you like.
You know what you like. Okay. Second sheet, all the stuff you don't desire to not for them about them, whatever it is, and their character, whatever, everything like we were just saying. You all right? First sheet, when you put it away, you can't look at it. Second sheet, you're gonna do the total opposite, and you're gonna put the same energy that you did in the first sheet until you just cannot figure out anything else, and then you put that second sheet away. You take all the time you need on any of these three sheets. All right. Once you put the second sheet away, can't look at neither one of them. You're on the third sheet. Third sheet, and that's the titles you're gonna put on it. First sheet, everything you know you want in the person. Second thing, everything you do not want in the person. Third sheet. Now you're on the third sheet. You're gonna write. You're gonna write, or it's the title on this one. Things that I can compromise on if it's there or not there. Okay. Now what you got to do is now try as best as possible to remember what you wrote on your first and second sheet. Okay? In other words, things you wrote on your first sheet preferentially, you know, if it's not there, if it's not part, you say, well, they, you know, I want them to have super bright white teeth, you know, perfect looking teeth. And they have a few little cricket ones or something missing, or you know, a gold cap filling or something like that. I'm just saying, you know. But you have really looked within yourself, and you said to yourself, well, you know, I can't have it all, but you know, if there's anything that you know, I can deal with that. I can compromise on that. Now, here's how you know you can. You gotta really dig within yourself, and here's how you know that you can deal with yourself. You really have to believe that you'll never complain about it. That's a hard one to think about. You have to really know yourself that deep to know that you won't, if it's not there, what you wish to be there, you will not complain about it. Okay? But you say you can deal with it. Same thing, that things that you say you don't want to be present, and you think on it and you say, well, yeah, well, I wrote this down. I don't want them, you know, they bite on their nails. I don't want nobody biting on their nails. But you know, if they do bite on their nails, not my preference, I won't complain about it. I can deal with that. I can compromise. Okay. Write that on the paper. Write all the things that you know you can deal with and compromise on, if it's there or not there. Okay. All right. When you finish the third sheet, take your time, get it done. Whenever you get it done, now then you pull out all three sheets. And when you read back over all three sheets, it's the third sheet that's really going to help you. That's the person you need to look for. That's going to make the best person for you in a relationship. Because now you, after this outline, you are really in touch with yourself, and you really have conformed yourself to know who you are. Okay.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
I plan to. I'm working on mine.
Oh, you working on your outline?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Yeah.
All right. I'll probably be a few years older, but that's how you did it. But anyway. All right. All right, folks. We
Bye-bye.